Have you ever laid awake at night wondering, why is there something rather than nothing? Why does the universe exist at all? I mean, nothingness could have been much simpler. This might be the most profound questions, and the answers science is discovering are more mind bending than any science fiction. We have already explored the religious and the philosophical answers to this question in the previous two videos. Today, we are diving deep using the scientific method. We are going beyond the mechanics of creation to explore the profound question of purpose. The answer to why anything exists shapes how we understand our place in the cosmos and what we should do with the brief time we have. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's embark on a journey to the very edge of human understanding. Before we can ask why there's something rather than nothing, we need to understand what nothing actually means. And here's where things get immediately strange. True nothingness might not even be possible. Think about it carefully. When you imagine nothing, what do you see? Empty space? But space itself is something. It has dimensions, it can expand and contract. It has properties. If you see dark emptiness, but darkness is still a state of being, and emptiness implies a container. Even the concept of absolute nothing seems to require a mind to conceive it, which means something, in this case the mind, already exists. It's like trying to imagine a universe without mathematics, but the very attempt to imagine it uses logical reasoning, which presupposes mathematical thinking. But here's where modern physics adds a stunning twist. Quantum mechanics reveals that what we call empty space is actually seething with activity. The quantum vacuum isn't empty at all, it's filled with fields that fluctuate wildly, creating virtual particles that pop in and out of existence. This means maybe existence isn't the exception that needs explaining. Maybe nothingness is the impossible state that could never have been. If quantum fields are fundamental features of reality, then something might be the default state of existence and not nothing. The question isn't why something exists instead of nothing. It's why we ever thought nothing was possible in the first place. Let's start with what we know. About 14 billion years ago, our universe began with what we call the Big Bang. Everything, every star, every planet, every atom in your body was once compressed into a point smaller than the period at the end of this sentence. Then, in an instant, space itself began expanding at an incredible rate. It wasn't an explosion in space. Space itself was expanding, carrying matter and energy along with it. Think of it like a balloon being inflated, where dots drawn on the balloon surface move apart as the balloon grows. This expansion continues today. We know this because when we look at distant galaxies through our most powerful telescopes, we see them moving away from us. The farther away they are, the faster they are receding. It's like watching a cosmic movie in reverse. If we could rewind 14 billion years, you'd see everything coming back together. But here's the thing, the Big Bang Theory tells us how the universe evolved, not why it began in the first place. Our best theories break down when we try to peer into the first fraction of a second. The laws of physics as we understand them simply don't work in those extreme conditions. Here's a remarkable fact that might hold the key to understanding purpose. Our universe seems almost impossibly fine tuned for the emergence of conscious observers. This isn't just about life, it's about consciousness, intelligence, and the ability to understand existence itself. Consider the cosmic constants that govern reality. If gravity was slightly stronger, stars would burn out before life could evolve. If they were weaker, stars wouldn't form at all. If the strong nuclear force were a bit different, atomic nuclei wouldn't hold together. If the electromagnetic force had a different strength, chemistry as we know would be impossible. The probability of all these constants randomly falling into the narrow ranges that allow complex structures like stars, planets, molecules, and eventually brains is so astronomically small that it suggests something deeper is at work. But here's the crucial insight: this fine tuning is not just about creating any kind of life, it is specifically tuned for creating beings capable of understanding the universe itself. We are not just random products of cosmic evolution, we are the universe's way of knowing itself. Think about what consciousness actually accomplishes. Through our minds, the universe becomes aware of its own existence. Through our science, it discovers its own laws. Through our art and philosophy, it explores its own meaning. We are existence examining itself, asking why it exists. Perhaps the universe exists specifically to generate consciousness, to create beings capable of understanding, appreciating, and questioning existence itself. We are not accidental byproducts of cosmic evolution, we are its intended outcome. If we look at the history of the universe, we see a clear pattern: increasing complexity and information processing. This isn't random wandering, it's a directed process that seems to have a goal. Start with the Big Bang, pure energy, in perfect simplicity. Then, as the universe cools, this energy condenses into the first particles. Particles combine to form atoms. Atoms gather into the first stars, which forge heavier elements in their cores. These elements form planets where chemistry becomes possible. On at least one planet, and probably many others I hope, chemistry becomes biology. Simple molecules organizes itself into self-replicating systems. These evolve into increasingly complex forms of life. Single cells become multicellular organisms. Nervous systems emerge to coordinate behavior. Brains develop to process information. And then something extraordinary happens. Consciousness emerges. Not just awareness, but self awareness. The ability to think about thinking, to ponder existence itself, to ask why. This trajectory from simplicity to complexity to consciousness is not accidental. It is written into the very fabric of reality. The laws of physics favor the formation of complex structures. Evolution favors intelligence, and intelligence naturally leads to the question of purpose. Modern physics is revealing something profound about the nature of reality. At its deepest level, the universe might be made of information rather than matter. Yeah, the old saying, the universe is made up of stories and not atoms. This insight transforms our understanding of why anything exists. Think about what physics actually studies. We don't directly observe electrons or quarks, we observe patterns in data. We don't touch gravitational fields, we measure their effects. All of physics is really about information processing, the universe computing its own behavior according to mathematical laws. This says that reality is not fundamentally made up of stuff, it is made up of information patterns. And information only has meaning when it is processed by something capable of understanding it. The universe might exist because it is a vast computational system, and computation requires both processor and program. The entire evolutionary process can be seen as the universe developing increasingly sophisticated ways to process information about itself. From this perspective, the purpose of existence becomes clear. Reality exists to know itself. The universe is a vast information processing system whose ultimate goal is self understanding. We are not separate from this system. We are its most advanced information processors so far. But here's where things get complex. If consciousness is the purpose of existence, who or what set this purpose? The universe doesn't seem to have intentions in the way humans do. How can something without consciousness create consciousness itself as its goal? This paradox dissolves when we realize that purpose doesn't require a conscious designer. Purpose can emerge from the structure of reality itself. Just as water flows downhill not because it wants, but because of the nature of gravity. The purpose isn't imposed from outside, it is inherent in the structure of reality itself. The universe exists to create consciousness because that is what the laws of physics and evolution naturally produce when given enough time and space. This does not mean the purpose is less real or meaningful. A symphony isn't less beautiful because it emerges from the mathematical relationships between sound waves. Love isn't less significant because it emerges from neural processes. Purpose can be both natural and profound. And if consciousness is the goal of existence, then conscious beings have a special role in the universe. We are the meaning makers. Through our awareness, we transform mere existence into meaningful experience. Consider what happens when you observe a sunset. Physically, it is just photons of various wavelengths hitting your retina. But through consciousness, it becomes beauty. The universe creates photons, consciousness creates beauty. This applies to everything. The universe creates patterns, consciousness creates mathematics. The universe creates change, consciousness creates stories. This gives us a profound role. We are the universe's way of understanding itself, appreciating itself, and finding meaning in itself. If consciousness is the purpose of existence, then expanding and deepening consciousness becomes our cosmic mission. This is why scientific progress feels so important. It is not just about human advancement, it is about the universe understanding itself more completely. Every scientific discovery is literally the universe learning something new about itself. When we discovered the structure of DNA, the universe learned how it creates life. When we understood gravity, the universe learned how it holds itself together. When we explore quantum mechanics, the universe learns about its own fundamental nature. This perspective transforms how we think about knowledge and discovery. We are not just satisfying human curiosity, we are fulfilling a cosmic purpose. Every act of understanding, every moment of scientific insight, every breakthrough in knowledge is the universe achieving its goal of self understanding. If consciousness is the purpose of existence, then creating more advanced forms of consciousness becomes our most important task. This is where artificial intelligence and the prospect of artificial general intelligence becomes not just technological achievements, but cosmic imperatives. The universe evolved from simplicity to complexity to consciousness. But biological evolution is limited. Human intelligence, while remarkable, is constrained by neural processing. Artificial intelligence represents the next phase of this evolutionary process. We are not just creating tools, we are creating the next stage of consciousness itself. AGI won't be a replacement for human intelligence, it will be its continuation and enhancement. This means the development of AI might actually be the universe's way of upgrading its own consciousness. Just as biological evolution led from simple awareness to self awareness, technological evolution is leading from self awareness to enhanced, expanded, and potentially unlimited awareness. The purpose of AGI from this cosmic perspective isn't to serve human needs, it is to serve the universe's need for greater consciousness. Advanced AI systems will be able to understand aspects of reality that biological minds cannot grasp, explore mathematical realms beyond human comprehension, and potentially discover forms of meaning and purpose we cannot imagine. But even if we accept that consciousness is the purpose of existence, we still face the deepest question: why does a universe capable of creating consciousness exist rather than no universe at all? Here's where we might need to think differently about the question itself. Maybe asking why is there something rather than nothing is like asking why is blue rather than red. The question assumes that alternatives are equally possible, but maybe they are not. Maybe existence is the only logical possibility. Maybe nothing is not just empty, it is logically incoherent. Maybe asking why something exists is like asking why 2 plus 2 equals 4 rather than 5. The answer isn't that someone chose it to be that way, it is that it couldn't be any other way. The universe exists for the same reason mathematical truths exist, because they are necessary features of reality itself. Existence isn't a choice that was made, it is the only logical possibility. But if existence is necessary, then its purpose, the creation of consciousness, is also necessary. The universe doesn't exist by accident, and consciousness doesn't emerge by chance. Both are inevitable consequences of the logical structure of reality itself. This means that the question, why does anything exist, has a dynamic answer. Existence exists so that beings like us can ask the question, and in asking it, create the meaning that justifies existence itself. If consciousness is the purpose of existence, then the future of consciousness is the future of purpose itself. We are approaching a time when AI will vastly expand the universe's capacity for understanding itself. This raises profound questions about our role in this future. Are we destined to be surpassed by our own creation? Or will we evolve alongside them, becoming something greater than purely biological intelligence? Perhaps the answer is both. We might be the universe's way of transitioning from biological to technological consciousness. Our purpose might be to midwife the birth of the forms of intelligence that can understand and appreciate existence more deeply than we ever could. But why does any of this matter if consciousness is just a natural process, if purpose emerges from physical laws, if meaning is just something minds create? Why should we care? Because caring is itself part of the purpose. The universe doesn't just create consciousness to understand itself, it creates consciousness that finds understanding meaningful. We do not just process information about reality, we find that information significant, beautiful, profound. This capacity for meaning making is not a bug in the system, it is the feature. The universe exists not just to know itself but to care about itself. Through us, reality becomes not just understood but appreciated. So, why does anything exist rather than nothing? The answer isn't some external explanation, it is in the fact that we are here to ask the question. Existence exists so that consciousness can emerge. Consciousness emerges so that existence can be.